And hello and welcome. My name is Martin, and today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about platforms. I would love to actually do that in this level. Unfortunately, what's happened is I've added so many things to this level, and it's gotten so big that it's actually starting to slow down my computer while I'm trying to do the video capturing. So what I'm going to do is actually take this time to create a new level, and instead of it being this open world, format, what it's going to do is feel very much more like a side scroller, like it's going to be going more left to right, up down, than having this y-axis where you can move across the field as well. Okay, so to get started, let's go ahead and go to Edit, New Level, and we're going to want to pick default level. The default level will come in with a sky and a small platform. The VR we're not doing, so we don't want that one. And I guess we could, if we wanted to, create everything from scratch, the sky ball and all that. If you wanted to have complete control, you could do that. We'll just do this to save ourselves a little bit of time. So click default. Okay, so when it comes in, the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and save the level. Now, I've already got a few levels here, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. I'm going to call this one level 5. You guys can go ahead and just call it level 1. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit save. And you will see that it shows up, or it should have shown up inside of your maps. I'm sure that as you were saving it in the last bubble, you could tell it which folder that you wanted it to go into. If it ended up not being put into this folder, remember that you can always grab it and then drag it into another folder and then say move here. And the folder that you want it to be in would be Content, First Person BP, Maps, and maps is essentially levels, right? So they're equating it to a map showing you an area, which is what a map does, and the area being what we're working in. Okay, so what I want to do with this first is I actually want to get rid of this platform because I want to use a geometry, so then that way I can control the texture of it a little bit better. Let's go ahead and make the z-axis 50. Let's make the the x-axis, I believe it's the x. Nope. Let's keep that one 200, and let's make the y-axis, I don't know, let's make it 10,000. Okay, so what that's going, ooh, that's actually quite long. I don't know, that might be good. Okay, so 10,000 it is. All right, so what this is going to do, and actually let's widen this a little bit. Let's make it about 400. Okay, so if I was to push play right now, I'd probably fall off the screen because I'm not actually on the floor. So let me grab myself and put myself on the screen, and let's go ahead and push play. And what this is going to do is going to create an environment where your character has got more or less a very straight trajectory that they need to run and walk. Okay. Now in here, what you can do is you can set up additional barriers, and obviously we're going to need to set up a background, and I'm thinking that this 400 may need to be just a little bit bigger too. So let's grab the plane. Let's stick this, let's make it about, make it about 1,000. You know what? Well, let's push play. Let's see what that feels like. Okay, that's not bad. Gives us enough to be able to like move out of the way of things and be able to get behind things. Okay. And I'm going to move just a little bit faster there. All right, so once we have that, what we'll want to do is Control C, Control V. Let's go ahead and flip this 90 degrees. Let's make this feel like a backdrop. Okay. Now, depending on how high your character is going to jump and, you know, how much you don't want them to fall off of the back edge, you're going to need to make this pretty tall. So let's see. Yep, it'll be the x-axis. Let's make this, I don't know. Let's make it also a 10,000. It's quite big. Let's see. 10,000 might be a bit much. Let's make it 5,000. Okay. So now we're sort of going to end up feeling like, I don't know, I call this sort of like the ant farm model, right? Okay, so once we have that, we can go ahead and grab this guy. Let's do another Control-C, Control-V. Let's turn this one 90 degrees this way. And this only needs to be 5,000. And then let's readjust its position so it matches the other ones. And we'll push this one back this direction. Okay, once we've got that, we can just hit Alt, drag, make a copy, pull it to the other direction. Okay, so now if I push play, to that side I have this endless wall, to this side I have this wall, and essentially just like an ant in an ant farm, we're going to create interiors and obstacles for that they need to pass to either end up at the you know, if they start at one end, they have to end up at the other end. Okay. All right. So at this point, if we want to, what we can do is we can add some kind of a background to these. I'm just going to use something fairly plain. You know what, if they have something like sand. Oh, that's even perfect. It even has a line going right through the middle of it. That's great. Let's see if we can't use that same one over here. And this sand came in with the water material. So if you've got the water materials pack, you have this sand. Okay, for the bottom, I obviously don't want the same sand, but I want maybe something the same color. Maybe we'll use that. That'll be fine. Not being super picky at this point. Okay. So, now what we need to do is go ahead and add some kind of obstacles for my character to have to jump and get around. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Oops. And probably not that way. Let's make it. Not like that. Let's do. Make that just big enough that they'd be able to stand on it. And let's make the z-axis. Okay, and let's make this taller than they can jump on. So then that way we'll be forced to use a platform. Okay, let's go ahead and click and drag another one out. And let's make this one a little bit taller. So maybe we'll make that one 3,000. Okay, let's drag another one out. Let's make this one 4,000. Whoa. Okay. Okay, now what I'm doing now is making sure that the character is not going to be able to just walk around the area that I want them to get through. They're going to actually need to be able to either jump across or use a platform to be able to get there. At this point, the only other thing that we need to do is put our starter character there at the beginning on one side. So let me go ahead and grab them and stick them here, and let's go ahead and push play, and let's just double check that our character indeed will not be able to jump high enough to be able to get out of that area. Okay, so that was enough for setup. You could obviously paint these, put a couple of materials on them, and what we're going to do in the next video is come in and show you how to actually create a platform and use the cinematic to allow you to be able to get over this area. So then that way you can get into the next area. And again, as far as game design is concerned, which is a lot of what this course or this series is meant to be about, this would definitely be viable as far as, you know, a way to be, a strategy for creating a level, something, again, I call it the ant farm technique, but this would allow you to be able to have a character, get them to walk through the area, and have them, have obviously a linear goal that they need to get to. This could also be considered, like a Super Mario 2D side scroller with a little bit of the ability to be able to move back and forth three-dimensionally, of course, because your character is in a three-dimensional state. Okay. So all right, hope you enjoyed the video. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.